Here are the Dalmia core values. These are integrity, justice, and open-mindedness that you will gain at the end of the session. The key features of our constitution are as given below. The first key feature is federalism. It alludes the existence of more than one level of government in a democratic country. Our country has governments at both the center and state level. Panchayati Raj is considered as a third tier of the government that governs the villages of our country. Our constitution provides a list of details regarding the powers of which level of government. It also specifies how the governments as each level should work by coordinating with each other. So you can understand the federalism that the different levels of governments are called the federalism. So in our country, the government is of central level, state level, and the third tier is the Panchayati Raj, that is the at the village level. The second key feature is parliamentary form of government. During elections, the citizens of India elect the government at different levels. All citizens have been given universal adult franchise. It means that we as Indian citizens have a direct role in electing the government at different levels. Irrespective of this background, every citizen is entitled to vote or even contest the elections. The universal adult franchise, that means we are having the power to give our vote in elections. Each and every citizen of India is having one vote, having the right of one vote. So that is the parliamentary form of government, that we elect the government. The third one is separation of powers. Our constitution states that there are three organs of the Indian government. They are legislative, executive, and judiciary. So these are the three organs of Indian government: legislative, executive, and judiciary. Our elected representatives form the legislative type. A group of people who are assigned the task of running the government and implementing the laws form the executive type. And the last one is the system of courts comes under the judiciary type. About the judiciary, we will read in the next chapters. The Constitution states that in order to prevent the misuse of power at any level of government, these three types should exercise their powers differently. Due to this, each type acts as a check on the other two. Now, here is the next topic, fundamental rights. So you can see the image of fundamental rights. So these are the fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. So now I am going to explain about all these fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. This section has been referred as the conscience of Indian Constitution. These rights are such that they protect against the misuse of power if a common Indian citizen exercises it accordingly. It protects them against the absolute and arbitrary power exercised by the states. It guarantees an individual's right against other individuals or sometimes even the state. So here are the 6 fundamental rights of Indian citizens. The first right is right to equality. Before the law, every person is equal. All the people are equally protected by the Indian law. They can't be discriminated on the basis of their respective caste, sex, or religion. They can access public places equally and would get equal opportunity of employment. It strictly condemns the practice of untouchability. Right to freedom. The second right, that it includes the right to freedom of expression and speech, the right to live in any region of India, right to move freely, right to form association, and right to practice any profession or business. So that is the right to freedom, that we can choose any of the profession, we can move freely, we can form any of the association, and also we are having the right to expression and speech. So these are the rights of freedom. The third one is right against exploitation. According to the Constitution, it is illegal to employ children who are less than 14 years in age, forced labor or trafficking of humans. It means that nobody can allow to employ the children who are less than 14 years in age, and nobody can force any person or any children to labor or trafficking of humans. So these are the right against exploitation. The fourth one is right to freedom of religion. All the citizens have been granted religious freedom. They are free to practice, propagate, and profess any religion of their choice. So we can choose any of the religion which we want, and we can follow the religion we want. So that is the right to freedom of religion. The fifth one is educational and cultural rights. Our constitution states that all the religious, linguistic, or minorities have the right to set up educational institutes as they want to develop and preserve their respective cultures. So each and every religion in our country are having the power or having the right to set up their educational institutes. The next one is, and the last one is, right to constitutional remedies. According to this rule, a citizen has the right to move to a court if she or he believes that a particular state has violated her or his rights. It means that we are having the power to move to the court if we will face any kind of discrimination by anyone. And the last one is, the last topic is secularism. That is the key feature of our constitution. In a secular state, a single religion is never promoted as the state religion. Our country is neutral in the matter of religion. Every citizen is free to follow their own faith. So the constitution or the government or the state never allows any or never promote any of the single religion in our country. All the religions are treated equally in our country. India became a secular state in 1976 with 42nd Amendment of the Constitution of India. With this, India doesn't have any official state religion. The laws of the country work in several ways to prevent religious domination. So I think now here is the end of the session, and so there are some homework for you. Some questions are there. You have to complete this homework. So first question is, who is known as the father of the Indian Constitution? The second question is, what do you mean by tyranny? The third question is, on which day the Indian Constitution was adopted by the country? And the last question is, who was the president of the Constituent Assembly? So you have to find out all these answers and you have to keep record in your notebooks. So stay home, stay safe. Until then, goodbye. We will meet again in the next video session.